So here is our passage 3, which introduces us to some very fierce warriors, berserkers and wolfskins. This passage almost sounded like a work of high fiction. It created an alternate world. So basically introduced us to two warriors and talked about those warriors eventually. Okay, so per se it's a very linear passage. There are not a whole lot of key ideas and more of a descriptive passage with a touch of history. So let's dive into our questions now that you have gone through the passage. So here is question number 9, the primary purpose. So essentially it is a descriptive passage, and considering that it is a descriptive passage, can I start eliminating options straight away? A says analyze, and that too what? Techniques and strategies of berserkers. No techniques and strategies have been dissected in the passage. Describe, possible. Differentiate between the two types of warriors. That's narrow. That's not the primary purpose. Yes, there is a paragraph that is devoted to it, but in that paragraph we are saying that there are some sources which treat them as equals, and then there are other sources which treat them as different, with the wolfskins being a little close or closer to Odin's cult than berserkers. So just a paragraph, and even there is no differentiation, no clear-cut differentiation, just one sentence. So we cannot really call that the primary purpose of the passage. And D, to elucidate. Okay, I like this verb, the fact that berserkers were the most ferocious warriors of the post-heathen period. Oh, this is where they messed it up. Berserkers, wolfskins found no place in the post-heathen world of Christianity. These existed in the heathen world of pre-Christianity. So it is the last bit of D which is wrong, and therefore D can also be eliminated. So the best answer choice for us for question number 9 is going to be option B. Let's dive into our next question. Question number 10. So there is this evidence that has been given towards the end. If you look at that paragraph, the context is that berserkers, wolfskins, they were full of battle lust, and when there was no battle, they engaged in all sort of crazy things like biting their shields plus some more. So it just talked about the crazy thing that they had about the battle. So let's look at our options. Berserkers were fond of battles, killings and of pillagings. Yes, but then it misses out on that intensity, that tone, that craziness. But let's keep it in running. B, berserkers used psychological tactics to frighten their enemies. Now see, that will happen only during the battle. These were actions that happened before the battle. These things were things that they did when they were overcome with battle lust. They wanted to fight somebody, but they could not because there was no battle going on. So B can be ruled out. C, berserkers had a level of ferocity and aggression that was truly frightening. Oh, that gives you that hint of crazy. D, berserkers were so aggressive that they sometimes attacked boulders and killed their own men. Definitely not. This is not something that you will relate with the context of the chest piece and biting of the shield. So between A and D, A also mentions pillaging, plus it does not mention crazy. That makes it less likely to be true than C. So through elimination, I'd say that I'd go ahead and choose C as my answer, although the best answer will be that it showed how crazy they were about the battle and how they missed the battles. Okay? But through elimination, C can definitely be termed the best option. Here is the next one. All the following are mentioned in the passage about berserkers except. So let's see. The berserkers seem to be at the borderline between fantasy and reality, but they did exist. True. Have a look at this. So A is mentioned in the passage. How about B? In the post-heathen period, there was no group of warriors comparable to the berserkers in terms of ferocity and destructive capacity. Yup. It is difficult for us today to imagine that such people can have ever existed. So B is also mentioned. C, berserkers were patriotic and loyal to their Viking community. This is false according to the passage. See, what the passage tells us is that Berserkers developed their own brotherhood of professional warriors who traveled around and took service with different chiefs. So they were not really patriotic in the sense that they worked with only one particular community, one particular chief. So C is false. D, placing berserkers in the front line was not always advantageous. Yup. Look at this last bit from the passage. But berserker troops could be a double-edged sword as they were difficult to control in a battle. So yes, they were not easy. They were not always advantageous. Double-edged sword, mind you. So A, B and D are true. They are consistent with the passage. C is false, and therefore C is the one which we can say is not mentioned in the passage, and thus should be our answer. And with that, let's dive into our next question. Question number 12. Which of the following statements is not unlikely to support the author's opinion? So let's remove not and un. Which of the following is likely to support the author's opinion? So A, much of berserkers' martial characteristics are shrouded in mystery. Nope. They did very clearly exist, and there is evidence of their existence. That is what the author is using to arrive at the information in this particular passage. So they've been well documented, in fact, in this passage itself, and therefore A can be ruled out. How about option B? Berserkers were mercenaries and generally worked for several chieftains. If this is true, this supports what has been stated in the passage. Well, they formed their own bands, worked with different chieftains. So this is definitely supportive. The berserkers were a secretive clan of warriors. Their existence could be shrouded in mystery, shrouded in folklore and mystery, but they were not secretive. It is just that in the post-heathen world there was no space for them, so they became part of the folklore and thus acquired that mystical cult status. I don't think they were, according to the passage, striving to be secretive in that sense. So C is inconsistent, not going to be supportive. D, berserkers wore wolf or bear skins which endowed them with the spirit of the respective animals. Berserkers thought that it does it. It does not mean that it actually goes on to do it. It was just their belief, and therefore even D can be ruled out. So the best option for us for question number 12 is answer choice B, and that takes care of our third passage.